Welcome back to the Bison Information Network. I'm Lydia Lafine, and I have a special guest with me here today. Matt, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Matt Winarski. I'm the Assistant Director of Athletic Bands here at NDSU, where I serve as an adjunct faculty member in the Challey School of Music.
So you say you work in the Challey School of Music. I was wondering where you work. Do you work with the band, choir?
So preliminarily, my day-to-day things that I do is I work with the marching band and I work with the athletic bands. So during the fall, that's very primarily Monday, Wednesday, Friday, marching band practices, and then football games. During the fall, we do lots of different pep bands. So we've got volleyball going on, the start of men's and women's basketball, and then in the spring, it's only pep band, men's and women's basketball, with a little smattering of here and there. We'll do wrestling matches, track meets, things like that whenever the community and the school calls on us.
Really? I was wondering, are you only involved with the NDSU marching band and athletic bands, or do you sort of diversify around the Fargo-Moorhead area?
So outside of being the Assistant Director of Athletic Bands at NDSU, I do also work at Concordia College, where I'm the Instrumental Ensembles Manager, where I work with the band and the orchestra. I do a lot of their logistics, their concerts, programs, travel, things like that. So that side of my job is very logistics-based, whereas here at NDSU, it's a lot of music making, marching, and some logistics, of course, too, because, 175 people, it takes a lot to, to do that.
I believe it. I absolutely believe it. I was wondering what types of stress you encounter just day-to-day juggling all of these things. You know, it surely must be a little bit of a hard gig. What do you do to cope with that?
I've been doing marching band for quite a long time, so for me, I don't even think of it as it's stressful. It's kind of part of the job, making sure we have practice fields, checking the weather. It's, checking in on our students, because when you have so many students, there's illnesses, there's, class trips, things like that. So we do a lot of our preparation for rehearsals and performances based around, 50 million X factors. And still every Saturday when we have games, we perform a full show and perform for almost 20,000 people. So it's a lot of fun, little stressful, but I love every bit of it.
How long have you been doing this?
So I have been here at NDSU since 2017, when I first started the Masters of Music program at the Challey School of Music. So I was a graduate assistant. I started with Sigurd Johnson as one of my advisors, and I worked with the marching band because that's just something I've always done. So I did that all through my master's and doctoral work. Before NDSU, I worked in the public schools, so Alexandria, Minnesota, and Gwinner and Foreman, North Dakota. At both school systems, I was able to do marching band. Specifically at Alexandria, they have a competitive summer marching program.
Oh, really?
So getting to do that was really fun, and actually competing with students, helping create shows that were entertaining, but also going to get us points with judges, things like that. And then my undergrad was at University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, which has a 400-plus person marching band, and I was drum major there for a couple years. And so I've been doing marching band for a long time, and it's just something I can't stop doing because I just really love it.
It's sort of like a core part of your identity, would you say?
100%.
Yeah. Did you first get involved in high school, or even before then? Did you do instrumental stuff in elementary school?
So I grew up down south. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, and marching band down south is really different than marching band up here in the Midwest, just because we started competitive marching band in the middle school. Really? So 6th grade, I joined band, and then you join marching band, you competed in parades, and then once you got to the high school level, then it was field marching shows and competitions every weekend. We competed across the state of Tennessee, and things like that. And so it was really competitive down south, and it's been fun up here in the Midwest to do more fun. And that's what college marching band typically is. Mm-hmm. There's no competitions. There's no grand championships for college marching bands. You have an audience that is usually, football fans, and playing music and making shows that they'll enjoy. And that's what we do here at NDSU, and I love that.
You keep on bringing up competitive marching. I'm wondering what the differences are between field marching, what we do in college, and competitive marching, which is becoming a more common form of marching art in high school.
So at the high school level, competitive marching looks very different than what we do at the college level in the sense that there's more pictures and sets that the marchers learn. So any song that they play could have anywhere from 15 to 30 moves. Whereas for like the Gold Star Band, we can do anywhere from 5 to 10 in a song. That's about where our range is. So there's a lot more movement. It's a lot more often. There's a lot more less standing still in playing because you're trying to impress judges not only with your playing but also with what's called general effect, which is kind of just the general feel of how everything's going. Like, oh, that was a really cool horn flash or like something like that, and that gets your GE score up. So you're getting scored with really intricate rubrics. Where at a college game, like a game day, it's just like we play and the audience clapping and cheering and kind of going crazy is kind of our barometer on how we're doing.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. And speaking of how, the audience is reacting, how do you think playoffs will go upcoming with the band? Do you think that, or I suppose just having to throw everything together sort of last minute as we keep on winning these games down to Frisco,
Right.
What do you think the upcoming weeks, months are going to look like?
So we have a really unique system with the FCS playoff system. If you're in the big FBS teams, the Big Ten, the SEC, you go to a bowl game after your season's done. Or if you get lucky, you get to go into the very, very inclusive or exclusive playoff system that they have, which is very few teams, and then there's a national championship game. We get to do this massive playoff system that's kind of similar to what they do in basketball. So every weekend is packed with you either win and you move on, or you lose and you are done for the season. So what's been fun for us is that we kind of have been in a rhythm over the last decade of how this goes. We get Thanksgiving weekend off because usually we get a bye because the team has been playing amazing, and then we usually will do a select show for the next game. But then we think about it week to week on what we're going to do, just because, one, we don't know when the game time is. We don't know whether it's going to be Friday or Saturday. So if it's a Friday, well, that's a school day. So that's kind of throws a wrench in a lot of what a game day looks like. So that really, affects kind of our decision making. So the way Connor Challey, the director of athletic bands, and I kind of treat it is we go game by game. We kind of have a skeleton plan of like, these are the shows we'd like to do, but we make sure every Saturday we cheer loudly and we hope that we get to move on, so that when it gets to the time of we win the semifinals, knock on wood, we can make those plans for Frisco and thinking about those kind of things and working with the other band and the really fun parts of marching band when you get to travel, be around friends, be around really diehard fans. Things like that. So it's just a lot of X factors.
Well, hey, I appreciate the insight that you've given me today, and I want to say thank you for coming and interviewing with me today, Matt. Once again, I'm Lydia Lafine with the Bison Information Network, and coming up next, we have Dash Menzel coming with Bison Sports. Don't go anywhere.